all corners of the globe to your ears, it's the Midnight Movie Cowboys. Sometimes informative, sometimes controversial, but always unpredictable. It's the Midnight Movie Cowboys podcast with your hosts, Hunter, John, and Stu. And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Midnight Movie Cowboys for this week, episode 2 of Primetime Crime Month. And again, in the co-captain's chair. Geez, I got this wrong pointing last time. He's on this side? This side. I'll get it right one way. This way. I don't know. Is John Grace. In Denver.
Howdy, everybody.
Yes. And of course, you got myself, Stuart, here in Melbourne, Australia. And of course, no Hunter still. It's going to be a while off before we get him back. But as we said in the last episode, we explained why. So anyway, last episode was Kojak. As we promised at the end of the episode, we're going to do The Magician, the pilot. And as is wont, we do change our mind, but not this week. We are doing The Magician, the pilot movie. The very forgotten television show, The Magician.
It's obscure.
Yeah. One season for a Bill Bixby show. One season is strange, isn't it? He was really popular. He was about pretty much as popular as Telly Savalas in the 70s, or became that way.
Yeah, it's because of the Hulk, really, and I think Courtship of Eddie's Father was considered a classic show. Yeah. I was reading up on this series, and I had never heard of it until the X-Files made a reference to it, because in the X-Files, Mulder, when he's a young boy, his sister is kidnapped. He's watching The Magician on TV. And that's the only reference to the show I've ever seen anywhere in pop culture. And I think the Sci-Fi Channel in America reran the series like maybe a couple of years later based on the X-Files reference, probably. I don't know. Because it's not a science fiction show at all. And then they released the DVD set a couple of years ago. This Canadian company, I think they're VEI. They put out these really nice sets of these TV shows, and they released it, and it was cheap, and I just grabbed it sight unseen, and I think I've managed to watch the first 2.5 episodes in a couple of years I've owned it.
What did it cost you for that set, may I ask? How much?
The
Magician set.
I think it was like $20. It wasn't that much.
Wow. So I had this on,
because a lot of times they have sales. That website, if you buy directly from them, they'll have these crazy sales where you'll get stuff for like $10. Like I got the complete martial law with Sammo Hung, and got I think you could get Longstreet for like $10, the complete Longstreet. The Equalizer they'll have for like a cheap price. I got, just for the hell of it, because it was so cheap, I got the Diagnosis Murder TV movies that spawned the show. They have a set of just those TV movies.
I remember those.
So I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it's a fun show. I like Dick Van Dyke. And so I was reading up more about it, and I found a really good write-up on the TV Party website where they said this show, they had filmed that pilot movie, and I think it was given a green light as a series.
Yeah. And
that summer they had a writer's strike, and the writer's strike got settled, so they still had broadcast deadlines to meet. So those scripts were written super fast and not really giving the writing staff enough time to really develop them, because I think it's very difficult to write a mystery show where you got to work in magic tricks and a magician, and you're basically ripping off Mandrake is what you're ripping off. So the series had a lot of problems.
Yeah. We'll hold that thought. We've got to whip out our junk, and then we'll.
Yeah. Let's whip out the junk and
we
get back
into
not Mandrake right now.
No. All right. So you want to go first, John, with what you've got?
Yeah, sure. I got a CD. I still buy these. Let's see if I can get that clear for the YouTube viewers.
You got to unblur your screen. Yeah.
It's Petula Clark, the EP collection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought this is a pretty good find. It's a collection of her 60s EPs in one CD. Pretty good stuff. Lots of cool covers and everything. Got let's see if I can get this. Let's find oh, there we go. It's Duel to the Death, the Eureka Blu-ray. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. Good film. Knockabout. Also, the Eureka Blu-ray. I had to get this because let's see if I can pull this back here. Yeah. There we go. Reverse letters and everything for the YouTube crowd. This is another Golden Harvest production, Sammo Hung Yinbu, kind of classic film. And I got Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Let's see if I can put that in clear vision here. Sorry, YouTube guys. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Encounters of the Spooky Kind. Pretty good Sammo Hung horror comedy. And yeah, you can tell I got a shipment from Eureka. Last but definitely not least, Dreadnought. And let me try to clear.
Put in front of your
Oh,
face.
there we go. Dreadnought. Yeah, the slasher kung fu movie comedy directed by Yin Wu Ping. Lots of fun. Looks like there's going to be a little chop sake going on before 4th of July in my household.
Yeah, so all right, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it for you? All right. I haven't got much either this week because pretty close in between recordings of Kojak and this. I do have about a handful of CD singles though. Remember those things?
Oh God, they still make those?
No, they don't still make them, but these are ones from the 90s. I've got first up Area 7, local band here in Melbourne, ska band. Only put out, I believe, 2 albums, an EP, the Road Rage EP, which is fantastic, and a shit ton of these CD singles. I'm slowly but surely building up to getting them. That's the Second Class Citizen one. These are all a couple of bucks each from this seller who looked like I was out Saturday. I thought I've got the weekend off. I'm going to hit a few record stores. I've got some time before this week, which is today, Monday, just goes absolute batshit nuts for me. I'm time to scratch my ass. So I'll hit some record stores and it was on Discogs. I saw a whole bunch of these Area 7 stuff from this seller who was in Melbourne and would do a local pickup. I thought, oh, okay, cool. I'll hit the guy up and contact him and arrange the meeting, which was not very far from where I was at anyway. He goes, yeah, meet me here, and if you can do it this time, great, which I did. And the guy looked like L. Ron Hubbard and was dead set wearing a blue sailor's hat at the same time. I thought, what the fuck? Really? Just give me that shit.
You trying to sell you a 10-volume sci-fi trilogy he wrote?
Tried to slip in
sci-fi series.
Dianetics inside the bag as well.
Right. Copy of old pulp reprint, Buckskin Run or something.
Yeah. Well, this bag's heavy, man. Is there a Battlefield Earth book in here or something? Yeah. Anyway, shout out to that guy. He had some cool stuff. Another one, Area 7, the Start Making Sense EP or single, and the last one of them, Area 7's Bitter Words. So I'm slowly but surely gathering them ones up at a good price. Another CD single I picked up. Forgot the shot last week. I actually picked up at the record fair I was at, but I forgot all about it because I had that much stuff. This one I picked. This one is from '98, and it's that Kiss Psycho Circus CD single. Which you think, what do you want that for? You got the album Stu, haven't you? Which I do. This came out about 3 or 4 months before the Psycho Circus album. I remember it distinctly when it came. I was like, "Oh, new Kiss, cool! I want to hear it." And it comes with Psycho Circus, the album version, which no one had heard at the time, so it wasn't out. An edit of it, which I think the edit is actually better. An early version of Raise Your Glasses, which was became on the album, which was on the album as well, but a different version. I prefer the one on this, but the kicker for me to find this was I Was Made for Loving You, the disco remix, which came out in 1979 on a 12-inch. Never before on a CD format until it hit this. Why they put it on this, I don't know. I don't care. I wanted it, and now I got it. So very happy about that. Now, if they'll just ever put out the Dirty Living 12-inch, the remix that was done in the same time by that guy, I forgot his name, but he did a good job on it. Or if I can find the 12-inch, which yeah, good luck with that on vinyl. Speaking of vinyls, I've got a couple here. Because I've got to fill in the void of Hunter not being here. We've got to keep the vinyl sort of craze going, I guess.
You get a lot of prog rock?
No prog rock. That's not my bag. That's his. I steal his prog rock thunder. This is collecting. And this I got from the L. Ron Hubbard guy as well. Which is the main reason why I got to him. More Ostentatious, the Australiana 12-inch. Well, it's a 7-inch single actually. It's actually a 12-inch, but it's a single. was huge when it came out in 83, but never got a 7-inch version, just this. The only one you could ever buy. So yeah, very cool. Happy I got that. Slowly but surely get my ostentatious collection happening because a lot of his stuff is on vinyl. On CD, I showed one last week, which is very hard to find. The rest of his other stuff is not on there. So I don't know if it just... Austin is pretty controversial. He pushes the boundaries. So I think his company has said, we're not going to bother. We don't need the headache. Last but not least, I went to a store called Strange World Records, John. Shout out to Richie, who works there. Nice guy. Did say I was going to come back with the Misfits Walk Among Us album. When I got there Saturday, he said, mate, I'm sorry, I sold the last one yesterday. I thought, oh, no. But he did tell me he's got a shipment coming in this week around Thursday. He's got one sort of put aside for me. So by the time I record next, I should be holding that up. But I did see this instead, and this is one of my absolute favorite metal albums from the 80s. I had to get it at $38 on double LP 180 gram. Death Angels, Frolic Through the Park. Absolutely. Oh God, this album, man, love it. When I first bought it in 88 on cassette, mind you, I just fell in love with it. Never owned it on a CD for some reason. Always only ever had the tape version, and that was it. Heard it various times on streaming. When I saw that, I had to get it. So, yeah, a worthy addition now to my slowly but surely or steadily creeping vinyl collection that I'm re-engaging in with. And that's it for me this week. So, I do have another collection or another couple of pickups I'm doing tomorrow afternoon through one of my usual guys, Ben from Disdain. Shout out, Ben. Nice guy. Got a couple more coming. One is very, very, very cool. And I'm looking forward to getting. So that's that. All right. We got any rants? Actually, just real quick, because we didn't do it last week and people were always thinking, what? Why didn't you do it? John, that Monsters trailer, that teaser. What do you reckon?
It looked like test footage to me.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's a teaser trailer.
Yeah. What's okay? So it's a minute long.
Yeah.
And it's basically the intro to the television show, but just with Lily Herman and Grandpa. You don't see Eddie or Marilyn in it. And okay, it was well shot, nice black and white. I'm not going to look of it. Okay. Actually, got to say, not too bad with Sherry Moon Zombie as Lily. She was looking all right, you know. Obviously, no Yvonne DiCarlo. No one's ever going to replace her, or even Lee Merriweather, who I thought was great. But yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. One of the better sort of, one of the more sort of accessible times I could actually watch Sherry Moon Zombie, as opposed to stuff like Lords of Salem and Christ knows what other stuff she's been in. The Herman was, you know, again, not going to replace Fred Gwynn, and the Grandpa's not going to replace Al Lewis, but looking all right. Then, so that's about what, 35, 40 seconds of that?
Not that much.
Then the last 20 seconds, it cuts to a color shot, which I thought, oh man, I don't really like the Munsters in color. Just for some, I mean, I do like those two films. I like Munster. I really like Munster Go Home, and I love Munster's Revenge, both color films. I'm hoping that this is actually in black and white, but in this day and age, I highly, highly doubt it's going to be black.
It's not going to be.
No. You know, one can dream, or one can hope. But yeah, so it cuts to a shot of the three of them on the sofa in the Munsters house, which looks good, which looks fairly well replicated. And Grandpa just says, "Okay, what do we do now?" I thought, what's the point of that? What do we do now?
Yeah.
What does that mean? But why not say, oh, wait for us until October 21 or whatever hell, you know, date that's coming in. I don't know, but you know, or we'll see you.
Where's Eddie? That's what I want to know. I want to know where Eddie is.
Well, as you said, you probably think it's test footage that somebody was willing to release, and there was probably no Eddie fully cast, or they thought we're gonna heap all the focus onto the main three. But yeah, you know, look, I didn't hate it, but it was lame. It was pretty lame.
Yeah.
As a teaser, I thought if you could give us a minute and a half of just something. Yes, I know it's called a teaser for a reason, a teaser trailer, but give us something. I mean, there'll probably be a trailer in about 6 weeks or so, I'd imagine.
Well, the most positive sign I've seen from this production so far is he got a PG rating. That's the only positive sign I've seen.
One of my sons, or my two older boys, want to fix my computer, was saying, "I can't believe Rob Zombie's got a PG rating compared to his other films." I said, "Well, I said, well, Universal has reined him in and said, you're not doing this a hard R version. It's not going to happen. Not with this property.
There's no audience for that."
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, we've spoken about this thing ad nauseum before in the past and said, "Oh, is it going to be a hard R?" Well, we were wrong. Well, we thought it was going to be. We were wrong. Thankfully, it's a PG rating. Hopefully, no cursing. Even the mild. You don't need even the mildest cursing.
It's not even a PG-13. I don't think there's any profanity.
Okay. I didn't take a look at the actual proper rating. So
yeah.
PG-13. That's a rated M here. The PG. Okay, yeah, no, it wouldn't have any.
Yeah, PG is like a G was in the 70s.
Oh wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to watch it. I mean, obviously, we're gonna cover it. That's a given. I think it's the most anticipated. Yeah, I know you're not looking forward to it, but it is probably the most anticipated one we're going to do this year from the listeners and viewers. With Garrow,
right?
With Garrow, I mean, those are But look, didn't hate it. Was underwhelmed. But didn't throw my hands in going, this is crap. I'm not going to bother. I am going to watch it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so
it's a curio. It's enough to make us curious about it.
Yeah.
He subverted expectations, I guess.
That's going to be the real thing, John. Is people going to say, how's Rob Zombie going to tackle a PG movie? He's never done it before. How's he going to cope?
Well, he claims this is what he's always wanted to make. He didn't want to make horror movies. He wanted to make Frank Capra type movies. Like that's what he loves. So who knows?
Rob Zombie's It's a Wonderful Life. Come off it. I mean, you got the name Zombie in your name. If you went by Rob Cummings, his real name, you could probably get away with it. It's standard.
Yeah.
Name.
Right.
Rob Zombie or Rob Straker, what he was known in between Cummings and Zombie. I mean, you're not going to really do that sort of thing. Rob Zombie's The Wizard of Oz. Oh, God help us if he ever does that. Oh, no. Don't say it, Stuart. Like Sherry Moon Zombie is Dorothy.
He wants to be the new Preston Sturges, I guess, or something in that on that level. He'll always say, "Oh, my favorite director is John Ford, and I like Howard Hawks and all this." So it's like, okay, let's see if he surprises us and makes a really good family movie. I like to be surprised. Nobody expected to hate Once Upon a Time in Hollywood more than I did, and I loved it. And I was expecting to hate it, and so it's like, man, I love the movie. So I like to be surprised. I like to be completely
proven wrong. I like to be proven wrong. Well. I don't care.
I like to be proven wrong. It's cool. It's like, keeps me on my toes.
Yep, exactly. So that's our mini months of review. So let's go to The Magician. Let's get into that. The main topic.
Oh yeah.
All right. I first saw this on television back in about 91. We just played on some small channel and not small, played on a main channel, but in the dead of night. That's what I'm going to get. Like a 1 a.m. sort of thing. Similar to when about 4 or 5 years back when we were talking about Mike Hammer. When Mike Hammer used to play, remember I told you he used to play on these Saturday nights? Or Sunday mornings, about 3 a.m., 2 episodes. Yeah. It was akin to that. We just played in the dead of night. And I caught one episode and I caught another one the following week. So I've only ever seen 2 episodes. And then I was watching The Incredible Hulk late last year sometime, maybe early this year. I said, well, what about that show, The Magician? I met Bill Bixby. I wonder if it's out on DVD, some possibility because it's so forgotten. Is it one of those lost treasures? Sure enough, it was. And I saw the price point, which was $75 to get it to Australia. I said, yeah, I'll have to find it on YouTube somewhere. Let's see what I think. But I managed to find a torrent of it, and excuse me, and got the whole series, and that's what we said about what's the magician. And then you mentioned you had the set. Oh well, let's try it out. But I remember liking it and thinking, what a strange concept to have a magician who dealt with crime. Never heard of this sort of thing. Not me anyway. It wasn't for me. You were talking about Mandrake?
Yeah, Mandrake would be the immediate comparison, because that came out in the 30s, maybe a couple of years before The Phantom. Same creator, Lee Falk, and extremely popular, very popular overseas, like in places like Italy and other countries. And I think since then, everybody's kind of wanted to do like a magician as a detective type of thing. They don't want to pay for the Mandrake license, because that's King Features and probably cost a fortune. So they managed to do sort of a knockoff with this magician show. And I thought what was funny is, like, in the Mandrake comic strips, they have he's like a hulking black assistant named Lothar, who wears like a fez hat and a circus strongman costume. Oh, really? And here he's got a large muscular black plane pilot. So it's like they almost snuck in Lothar that way, So I thought that was funny with the pilot. My understanding is later on, I haven't gotten that far in the series, but later on it changes format completely, and he's only got one assistant. It's just like some smart aleck white guy, and they basically fired the rest of the supporting cast, or those characters only make cameos. It was a show that went through a couple of changes throughout its only season.
Yeah, because
the ratings just weren't there. Apparently, they were pretty bad, and so they thought, oh, we'll tweak it a little bit, and maybe that'll help. But it was a one season thing.
Do we know what it went up against when it did air on television?
No, I didn't look that up. The funny thing was, I looked at the numbers, and it had something like, I don't know, 13, 14 million viewers. It had an audience share that a TV show would kill for now.
Yeah,
because they don't even come close to that. Even like your number one show of the week doesn't even come up to that many viewers nowadays. It just shows you there was a lot less choice back then. But yeah, it didn't have the type of ratings that were going to survive, and supposedly the writer's strike that happened that summer really hurt it, because once that was settled and they were kind of pressed for time to come up with these scripts, and they had to be mystery scripts, and Bill Bixby insisted on doing the magic tricks in one take for real on camera. So they had to kind of limit it to certain types of tricks. And the pilot movie, everything's done through editing and filmmaking, so it's more of it's not real magic or whatever, or stage magic. And they didn't have the time to do it for the pilot, but on the regular show, apparently Bixby's doing his own magic tricks. In the 2 episodes I watched, he's doing one take shots of magic, kind of like it's like if David Copperfield were playing a detective on a weekly show. But of course, this is before David Copperfield was a big deal. So which is interesting. And the other thing was, like, for the pilot movie, his name is Dorian, or his last name is Dorian, and in the TV series his name is Blake, and it's because they found out there was a magician named Dorian, and they didn't want to use his name for the series.
Oh, really? Okay.
To avoid legal issues, so they changed it to Blake. So you could tell once they were getting this into production, there was a lot of stuff they had to catch up on doing it. And I'd also read that in the pilot movie, in the first episode, he's got a jet that the black guy is piloting, the guy who's not Lothar, it's his Lothar. What the network decided and the producers decided was there was a gas crisis at the time, or energy crisis.
How does that ring true now?
I swear, boy, does this make sense. And they didn't think audiences wanted to see a hero flying around in a jet wasting fuel when they could barely afford gasoline, and there was a gas shortage. So it just seemed like too much. And it's funny because I noticed in the pilot, it has problems like Bixby's character comes off more smug than heroic in a way. Like he's
True.
a bit kind of, he's really cold. And I don't know if he had like his lids pressed down with wax or something, like to give him a weird look, because he doesn't have it in the series. But in the pilot movie, it's there. And they were trying to make him like a kind of a stranger, more mysterious character. And I also had read that the network wanted him to be more like a swashbuckler, like an Errol Flynn type of hero, you know, like for a weekly series. And Bixby wanted to, of course, make him a more mysterious magician, because that was more his thing. Bill Bixby wasn't like an athletic action hero type or whatever. And yeah, it's fascinating to see the problems that a show had before going on air, and also the micromanaging that the network was obviously doing on the series. And but I tell you, the pilot movie does have some really nice Seattle location work. Like they filmed it in Seattle, and and I think also did some filming in San Francisco, and actually they did a really good job with that.
Yeah,
stuff looks nice.
Yeah, the character of Dorian seemed really much a precursor to his David Banner that would come a few years later. And just the mysterious guy sort of just swans in, and no one really knows much about him, and he just disappears. And so, yeah, I'm just wondering how much of that he may have brought into his David Banner role, or the Hulk, that he carried over from the Magician.
Right.
Yes, I would have been a little bit in there. But I mean,
his idea of a hero, you know, he comes off like his you know, he did a couple of Elvis movies where he played his friend, and he kind of comes off with that persona a little bit.
Yeah, Speedway.
Kind of a weasel in a way, you know.
Yeah, Speedway and Spin Out was one he did with Elvis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, one of my favorite Bixby things he ever did was actually the 2-part Elvis specials. Remember those from the early 90s?
I do remember those.
First one was Is Elvis Alive? And the second one was The Elvis Files. Or it was the other way around. I can't remember which one it was. But that was the name of the two of them. Now, my brother's probably screaming which one, because we used to watch him ad nauseum. Yeah, I remember. I think I brought it up on the show before. I remember watching the second one, where they talk about all these people who have come across Elvis supposedly after Elvis had died. You know, and I was actually traveling with Dad at the time. We were going from Melbourne up to Queensland, and we were heading back. Actually, we've been to Queensland. We're actually heading back to Melbourne and stopped over in New South Wales overnight, the motel, sorry. And we're watching out on TV as it happened. And I was really enthralled. And going, oh, you know, they've come across Elvis, and their Dad's sitting on the bed. Ah, he's dead, Stuart. He's dead. And I said, "Could you ruin shit you do, Dad?" Oh, he's dead. Oh well, yeah, Dad ruined that one for him. But
my mother was convinced he was alive.
No, I still am as well. A bit of times, I mean, because you love Elvis so much, you want to believe he's still alive, and he's not. He's gone.
You don't want to see him leave the planet in such an unglamorous way, and kind of confusing way. You know.
Yeah, especially when people make jokes about it. Like, shut up! The man died. Who cares? He died on the shitter. It's irrelevant. Don't make fun of him. But yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. It was it took me when I watched it, and I had to go back to a couple of parts. I thought I just didn't quite catch what was going on. It's very, very multi-layered for a pilot. I mean, compared to the Kojak one episode we watched, which was straightforward, it was a scene, and then there was, you know, the only real sort of added bit or the extra layer was the brother, Harvey Keitel's brother. They lured to try and get Harvey Keitel out and give up.
Right.
This time there was one layer upon another one and another one, and there was this friend of Mary Rose, and it was, wow, I didn't quite catch it. I had to go back to the start, and why was he so
I found it really confusing. Jimmy Sangster wrote the script, and he was a scribe for a lot of the classic Hammer films. And in the 70s, he had been reduced. He moved to LA and just basically wrote a lot of TV series episodes. Like he wrote a couple of Notorious Kolchak, the Night Stalker episodes, and wrote for Canon and various series. and it's sort of his way of writing like a mystery where it's just so layered, and it's amazing. It's like if you blink, you missed something, because I was getting confused over things.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
yeah.
It was very much like it really required your attention on it the whole time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really liked it. And I'm going to go back and watch it. Absolutely. Because those other little snippets I missed, I want those bits filled in. So I need to go back and watch it again, which won't be a problem because I really did like this one. But yeah, it was very, very, very laid for a 73 TV pilot. I mean, boy, even Columbo's first couple of TV movies are not as like this. They were a bit more straight.
Right.
Yeah. But let's get into the cast. I will bring it up here on the screen since I've learned how to use the share screen button. And use that. And share that. And here we go. So we've got from this one here, a pilot from March 1773. Written by Joseph Stefano as well.
Yeah,
very cool. Bill Bixby, King Curtis. King Curtis was the Pomeroy. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Anybody else? Okay. Kim Hunter. Did not recognize her because I missed her name at the credits at the start. I'm going,
playing the middle-aged woman. Yeah.
And this is only 5 years after Planet of the Apes. Okay, yes, in Planet of the Apes, she's made up with makeup on. You can't see her. Obviously a zero. But didn't pick her at all. Any other names you know from here at all?
Anne Lockhart, who was later in Battlestar Galactica, I think.
Okay. Haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, but will be soon because Umbrella are putting out a double feature Blu-ray as part of their retro sci-fi series, which is the Battlestar Galactica movie, coupled with the Buck Rogers in the 25th Century movie, both in HD. So I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I got confused. I was thinking Sangster actually wrote the first episode after this TV movie, so he kind of established the TV version or the TV series. The way they did the stories then.
Yeah.
And Stefano apparently may have come up with the concept. I don't know.
Very cool. Elizabeth Ashley, this lady here.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice looking in the film. Very nice looking lady. When I played played Sally Baker, the wife. Former Mrs. George Papard as well. Just divorced in a year.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't
know that. But very attractive lady. Not a struggle watching her on the screen at all. Yeah, that's pretty much the cast there. Nobody else of real note that we know. Yeah, whatever. And that's it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's basically it for the cast there. All that. And yeah, what do you think overall?
I thought it's a decent start. I thought the plot was a little too layered, I thought. But I thought the location work was really nice. I did find, as I said before, Bixby's hero his Dorian is a bit aloof. And I mean, obviously he's one of those detectives that's trying to outsmart everybody in the room, and the way they structured the mystery and everything. But the character is a little cold, if polite. But there were some interesting spots, like he drives a sports car with the Spirit license plate, so you might get a car chase or so. I thought the boat to plane chase at the end was a little weird because it didn't make much sense, but it was an excuse to do a cool stunt, but logically it doesn't make sense for the plot. For me. It's like you're gonna get in a speedboat. Guys are shooting the speedboat where they could, in TV shows, you shoot the speedboats, like it's gonna blow up. So like it doesn't really, it's almost like a suicide run in a way. They might have been better off just running along the lakeshore and wearing those guys out. But you don't watch these for reality. And the whole get into the plane, it's like, boy, you're asking a lot of a young girl who's been kidnapped basically to, hey, jump on the plane with me. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this Daredevil stunt here.
Yeah, that was
it's just
that was asking a bit much of that lady. Yeah, But
yeah, it's the typical Hollywood, you know, what it is in the script. They'll say it's a chase scene, it'll involve a boat and a plane, and then the stuntmen come up with everything, and then you've got to kind of just figure it out from there, how to edit it without looking too far out or illogical. And here it just looks crazy, and of course the boat blows up and you get the fireball in front of the camera to represent blowing up the boat.
Boy, don't you?
But yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, it's 75 minutes. It obviously ran in like a 90-minute time slot, I think, on TV when it kicked off the series.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. And then I moved on to the first episode, the one the Sangster wrote, and it was okay. And then I'm about halfway through the what would be the third installment or the second episode of the regular series, and it's filmed in Vegas with some Los Angeles shots to kind of, you know, for the interiors, I think. But there was a lot of Vegas filming, and it was made to look like they were still tweaking with the formula, I think, or the series Bible, because it's a bit different. And I noticed Bixby looks a bit more normal. It acts a lot more like Bruce Banner in the third episode. Like he's yelling at a character who for getting hysterical, you know, but he's coming up like, you know, Bruce Banner about to stress out and get the green eyes, you know.
Yeah.
But it's enjoyable so far. It's entertaining. A lot of fans went back and reviewed this on IMDb, and they don't think the series really got good till 4 or 5 episodes in. Apparently a lot of kids watched this in 73, and I think they had that wonderful juvenile view of something that you watch when you're very new to watching entertainment, and it's like, whoa, this is really cool. And you know, later on you realize, oh, it was just typical of the series, the type of shows at the time. But I do look forward to seeing how they work in the magic gimmick into a regular episodic mystery thing. And it's you can kind of, like in the regular episodes I've watched so far, you can kind of figure out the mystery right away if you've seen enough of these like we have. But it's entertaining, and I could see this making a really good impression on like 7-year-old boys or whatever watching it on TV.
So anyway, there's not a great deal we can really talk about this episode. It is very multi-layered, as we said. Just want to ask you, John, I struggled with the whole Mary Rose boyfriend thing. What was she was important to the plot, but why was she so key? She knew about the bomb, was it?
I think I had to wonder if maybe this was planned for a 2-hour movie and they did some cutting and, you know, cut like 15 minutes out, which actually, you know, can throw a plot completely off. A lot of this, they gave it to you to figure out for yourself, I suppose, which I think was a lot to ask of the viewer for a scenario like this. But I didn't, there were things I was like, did I miss something? Do I need to go back and check it out again? Joseph Stefano, I don't think is always the best plotter. I know the teleplay was written by another writer, but I do suspect this was planned as a 90-minute running time to fill out a 2-hour slot, and was cut down to like, you know, 75 minutes just to get it into a 90-minute slot. And who knows if there was footage that was shot that's missing, because there's some kind of confusing stuff in here that'll have you wondering, did I miss a scene, or why are they making me figure this out for myself? It seems a bit overcomplicated, I think.
Did you?
Which is something I noticed, that like the regular series the plotting is a little more straightforward,
more streamlined. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's designed for the 48 minutes, 50 minutes of footage that these shows had back then.
Yeah, I'm curious to see
nowadays. I think TV shows are like 41 minutes, 38 minutes. I don't know if they run an hour. It's funny.
I'm actually curious to see that first episode and the second, maybe the third one, to see how much different it is from the pilot. Drastic, if it's just, you know, some sort of small minimal changes here and there. It just, I will watch another one. Oh boy, time is not my friend this week. I'll try and squeeze one in sometime this week. But yeah, I'm curious to see it. And I mean I enjoyed it enough to say, I want to carry on with it. Are you surprised it got a green light after this pilot film?
I I think it's kind of like with obviously the way it was filmed or made. I think it was coming off the heels of the second Kolchak TV movie, The Night Strangler,
Oh yeah.
which was also filmed in Seattle and used similar location work. And they probably said, "Hey, could you set this in Seattle? Could you, so we can use those facilities and hire that crew again or whatever." That's kind of how they would do things back then. I'm not surprised. I'm sure they saw a lot of potential in it. And TV shows back then, they wouldn't cancel them if they had, like nowadays, if a series will drop, it'll premiere. And if the ratings are bad enough, they'll just cancel it after one airing. And that used to be, that happened to one show for the first 50 years of television, I think. A show called Turn On. It was a spinoff of Laugh In. It aired one time, and it was like a more tasteless version of Laugh In. I don't even think you can watch it on YouTube. Maybe you can, but it was notorious as the show canceled after just one airing. But back then, a show would get 5, 6, 10 airings to see if it could find its footing and keep its audience. And it, TV shows were given a chance to grow back then. Nowadays they don't have the patience for that. So I could see them looking at this and go, well, this is a pretty cool pilot. Could we change some things for the series, and let's give it a shot and see if the viewers kind of go with it or run with it. And I think that's what happened with this, and that they changed it halfway through the season where apparently he's living at the Magic Castle, which is a club in LA.
Okay.
And he's got just one assistant, and there's no plane, and it's a bit different. So, I'll have to look forward to seeing if those changes help the show or hurt it. But yeah, apparently it didn't maintain enough of an audience for the network to continue the series. Obviously, they didn't blame Bill Bixby. I think they blamed this concept that it was kind of went out the gate half-assed because of the writer's strike.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned about that show Turn On. It had literally one episode was aired, and that was it, was it? Or one season?
Yeah,
one episode.
Yeah, one episode. That's it. And I don't know if more were made. I seems like I read the Wikipedia entry one time, and they said, maybe there were 2 or 3 shows that were unaired or something, but they said it was infamous as never beyond one airing, and that was it. I guess some stations refused to carry it. They thought it was too tasteless. The funny thing is, you live in Australia, and Australia is the only country that was able to see the David Brenner TV show Snip, where he played a hairdresser.
Never heard of it.
And the story goes, Snip was going to be the first network sitcom. I think it was NBC that had it, with a gay character, a gay supporting character. One of the hairdressers was a gay man. And NBC, out of fear of the affiliates, and they had been hyping the show up, they mentioned it in TV Guide, they promoted it. They then pulled the Snip airing like a day before it was supposed to broadcast.
When was this?
And
what year?
Was that?
What year was it?
I think it was like 1976.
So it was before.
It was like 76 or 77.
Before Soap.
Yeah, it was before. It was before Soap. It was from the creator of Welcome Back, Kotter. So he was like the hot sitcom creator, and David Brenner was always on Carson, and this was going to be his shot at a sitcom, and they pulled it because of that character. And supposedly they had shot 13 episodes or 6 episodes or however many, and they aired in Australia. And apparently it was the highest rated TV show in Australia at the time, or the highest rated sitcom. And Australians went crazy for it. And the Australian network called up the producer, said, "Do you have any more episodes? It's like people are going crazy for it here." And they're like, "No, we never got the green light to do any more because it never even aired up here." And they said, "Well, we love it."
That would have been shown.
And apparently,
that would have been shown, I guarantee, in the off season, which is usually between November and I think the start of February. So they call it the dump season. We just get a whole bunch of stuff from the US and the UK, and they just dump on. That's when you usually find stuff like I found Penn and Teller. many moons back, and other shows in
Mhm.
that 4-month, 3-month time slot. You mentioned about shows that lasted one episode. There was a show that famously aired here called the Doug Mulray Show. Doug Mulray's a comedian, a sloppy, overweight guy with long hair. Looks like a sort of burnt out metalhead. And he was
Right.
on Channel 9, and he lasted 1.5 episodes. He literally went. It was a live show. It was Doug Mulray Show live, I believe it was. I think it was live. I don't know. Anyway, the guy who owned Channel 9 at the time, a guy named Kerry Packer, very famous, billionaire magnate, tuned into the show, the second episode, halfway through, rang up Channel 9 and said, "Get this fucking shit off now." And they yanked it halfway through. And that was it. They just shoved something else on what would have been the rest of the show. And then buried that show. I don't think I've seen Mulray again on TV. He's just disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was
Jeez.
very, very famously remembered as being the show that was yanked halfway through by Packer going, "Get it off now." Not even.
I don't think it ever happened here. I don't believe it did.
Yeah.
Where we had something yanked off mid-broadcast.
Yeah. No, they cut to a break and that was it. It was just something new had started and Mulray was out the door, told to get the F out.
Wow.
That's it. Yeah, so pretty infamous situation, that one. But I mean, look, let's finish up with The Magician. It is a good. I will say I did enjoy it. As we've spoken, though, there's a few months we go, "Hey, I missed that. Why is this happening? What's okay? Why we got these guys here?" And it felt like it tried a little too hard to be so complex.
Yeah,
that it just it kind of missed the mark a little bit. Not to say it's bad. I think it requires a review. However, back in '73, there was no chance of a review. You and I had that opportunity to do that, but they didn't back then, unless you caught it again on a rerun, which was not going to happen. But I mean, out of a rank, I'll give it, say, a 5.5. I'll give it a pass for sure. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I think a perfect example is the Keen Curtis character, who he lives in San Francisco. He has a wife. He has a son who's in a wheelchair. But the dialogue is strange. It's like she's not really his wife, and it's like I was like, wait a minute, is this character gay? I couldn't figure that out.
I thought about him. Yeah, what's his go? Is he? Yeah. Is she like a living? Or she? I don't know.
It didn't make any sense. And then later on, I thought maybe she was his caretaker and he was a homosexual. Because they kind of imply that, but the dialogue is very coded about everything. And then in the subsequent episodes so far, he's just kind of like a sidekick or like a manager or something. They're never really clear exactly what he represents to Tony. I mean, he's Tony Blake in the series, so what he represents to him, or why Tony collaborates with him. There's some things, maybe it was supposed to be fleshed out a little more later, or they just want you to go with it and say, hey, it's just like, here's this assistant character, deal with it. Pick up, keep up with the show. We're not going to stop and explain everything to you, because they did back then. They would kind of guess that the viewer could figure things out for themselves, and there was a lot more of that, an assumption of the viewers being, at least, I guess, I don't know if intelligent is the word, maybe imaginative, or could fill in the blanks. I'm not sure, but this was considered standard TV writing back then. The more I watch like these cop and detective shows from that era, I'm seeing that's where a lot of that is.
Yeah. The only problem was this aired at night. I would say it would have been around 8:30 at night. People have worked all day. They want to sit in their chair. They want to relax. They want to see, people like Kojak and just solve the case. Not there, sit there going, what's going on? I don't understand. Marge, change the channel. I don't want to watch this crap. I think it might have been its undoing in the end. Just a bit trying to be a bit too clever for its early '70s audiences. I'm not saying it's stupid, but they just different time, and they didn't have the opportunities. We said about a rerun, and they was like, put on Columbo. Let's watch that instead.
I think it was aimed more at kids. I suspect children were more the audience for this than, a magician solving crimes. I mean, it's almost like a juvenile concept in itself. So, adults don't care about that stuff, but kids are going to tune in for the magic tricks and everything. And that, judging by the reviews I saw on IMDb and various review sites, it's like everybody's like, I saw this when I was a kid and caught it every week, and it was responsible for me loving magic and enjoying magician specials. And for years, Bill Bixby would host these magic specials on CBS, and I didn't know why, because I didn't know about the show. And then I realized, recently, it's because he starred in The Magician, and kids knew him from that. And
honestly, though, if those magic tricks are done by Bixby, he's a hell of a magician. That was some convincing stuff. I mean, Steve Martin's into magic as well. I've seen him do some, but I mean, not as elaborate as this stuff that Bixby was doing.
Right. Well, he used to run the magic shop at Disney when he was a teenager.
Bill Bixby. Oh, wow.
Steve Martin.
Oh, Steve Martin. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't know
that's
that.
Where he probably got used to the idea of controlling a crowd, and because he worked as a salesman. So, that helps a lot, I think, being an actor or performer. Bixby was I think trained as a song and dance man. He's one of those actors that gets into the business because he's performing in plays. He's getting his singing voice right because they thought they could get into the business and they could do musicals. But by the time they get into the business, musicals are dead. David Carradine's another actor like that. He was trained for song and dance man, trained for musicals, and he gets into the business, musicals are dead. It's like, it's just like that. A genre gets unplugged. Unless you get a Grease and you might get something else, but you don't get a Seven Brides for Seven Brothers in Oklahoma, coming out every year. So that's what these actors were hoping to get into.
Yeah, constantly.
Yeah, but I give it a 5.5. It's a interesting start. It's not perfect. The subsequent episodes aren't the two that I've watched or episode and a half that I've watched. They're not fantastic. It's not an outstanding show. I see it as for what it is, a crime show for kids. And it's fine for that, and adults can enjoy it too. He's got the hot assistants wearing the skimpy outfits in his Vegas stage show. So they put that in for the dads, I know what's up there. But it's just, and so it's got its little, it's various elements for, back then TV had to be a bit more populist and please everybody and entertain everybody. So there's something to appreciate for that. Whereas nowadays, all TV shows seem kind of atomized for peculiar small audiences, is what I've noticed with TV shows today. Like nothing has got that kind of general appeal that anybody can watch this and get a kick out of it.
It's all niche audiences, over here and some over here and some over here. It's just
right.
Yeah, but
this one's for transsexual penguins, and this one is for radical Jewish Muslims or whatever the hell. It's just it's all this show is for schizophrenics, and everything's just too baffling now. Like I kind of miss this. This is for they thems and whatever. It's like I kind of miss television that's just for everybody. Like a Gunsmoke or just a Columbo. I mean, just anybody can tune in and watch something, and watch any individual episode, not have to play catch up like it's a soap opera.
Yeah, I think I saw. I'm not, and just to stray away from Magician for a moment. I'm gonna just check it up. I think I was seeing there's gonna be a RoboCop remake with a black woman in it as RoboCop. Yeah, unless it was a piss take and I didn't watch the video, but I did see no.
Could be a piss take because I think Iron Man is a black woman right now in the comic books.
Oh, okay, right. No, it was RoboCop. This was on another content creators channel, which I do watch, and I think he was taking the mickey a bit. But I only saw the thing. I go, what? But a chance to watch the video. But all right, The Magician. I say give it a watch. Is this around anywhere besides buying it? Is it?
It's not on streaming. You can buy the set is still $16.99 at Amazon plus $4 shipping and handling if you're in North America. You can still get it for that price. If you're interested in, I think, early 70s crime shows, it's interesting to see something like this that's trying to hit that notch of something like the Avengers or whatever, where it's a kind of, it's not quite a cop show, it's not quite a detective show, it's not a secret agent show, but it seems to have elements of all of these things. It just kind of,
the Tarantino guy, yeah, man, I really dug The Magician more than the Incredible Hulk. I think it was a really unappreciated show. It was okay.
He'll always say that.
Got like posters of The Magician.
Oh man, it's better. It's a smarter show, man. It's grown-ups.
Yeah, didn't need no guy posters on the wall, and I got the original pilot film, man. The original 16mm film.
I got the Tony Blake display poster they used for the TV episode to make it look like he was performing at Circus.
Yeah. Actually, that scene in The Hateful Eight? If you look closely, that was based on The Magician, man. That scene. And there'll always be someone in the comments as well if an episode pops up on YouTube going, oh, I always really enjoyed The Magician, my favorite show. Way better than what the Hulk was. Like, get out of here, brother. I mean, it's a good show. It's a fun little show, but it ain't The Incredible Hulk. Hulk ran 5 seasons, and Magician ran 1 for a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason. The Hulk was a more powerful TV gimmick. Like, we just hadn't seen anything like that on television before.
And you talk about shows about shows, that you said had a universal appeal. Well, the Hulk was one. Incredible Hulk was one. Basically, Dad could watch it, Mum could watch it, the kids could watch it. Dad's watching it for whatever. The mum's watching it probably for free, and the kids are watching it because Incredible Hulk, but the whole family can watch it. But shows these days.
Perfect appeal to everybody type of series the Hulk was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's like the Magician will forever be like Bill Bixby's Bleach to the Hulk's, and never mind, so people act like they were hip because they heard Bleach first or whatever, so they'll say, oh, but I saw the Magician before I saw the Hulk, so that gives me obscurus points.
Or was the kill them all, ride the lightning master of puppets to the
yes, exactly. It's always the Assault on Precinct 13 before I saw Halloween, so
Speaking of Halloween, a very good point. I'm going to bring that up. In the scene where Tony Dorian goes to see the friend of Mary Rose, Francine, I'm looking at this girl, the one who'd been beaten up. I'm looking at this woman. I go, where do I know her face? I can see. Okay, she's got a few bruises, obviously, from the scene that's happened. And I go, where do I know her face? And I couldn't pick her. Until I saw the end credits, I saw Nancy Stevens. I said, and Nancy Stevens was in Halloween in the first one, and the second one as the nurse who travels with Donald Pleasance toward the start. The Haddonfield Institute, and they see all the inmates roaming around outside, and Michael Myers escapes and he punches the window and breaks the glass and grabs her, and she gets tossed out. That's her. Yeah, but 5 years earlier, obviously. So
right. Well, I could throw in another trivia bone for you. Anne Lockhart was, I think, Carpenter's first choice for Laurie Strode before Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, I can see that. I mean, all our friends over at Land of the Creeps were going, no, man, ain't no Jamie Lee can be replaced. You shout out the great. But I can see that. I can,
The history always gets revised, but I've heard that a few times that Anne Lockhart was actually the first choice, and either she wasn't available or the investors said, no, if we get the daughter of Janet Leigh, we have that selling point or whatever. So
that's a bit of an urban myth, that one. Oh, we can get the daughter of Janet Leigh. I don't think they really thought that. It's just sort of one of those ones that snowballed over time, and thought, that sounds good, as a tale to tell. But I mean, it may be true. Maybe I don't know. But,
could totally be.
Yeah, it could be. But I mean, check it out, The Magician. You'll have to find it somewhere or another. You can always, go the route, and you will find it. Or buy it, like John said, buy the set and just roll the dice and take your chances. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at that price point. It's pretty decent. If you're in Australia, go to your local bank and take out a second mortgage because it ain't cheap.
My advice is don't binge. Like, people are in a habit of binging on TV shows nowadays. And these are not TV series that you binge on. You watch like 1 or 2 episodes a week and just kind of take your time with it. Don't, like, I was watching The Invaders, the Roy Thinnis show from the 60s. You can't binge on that because it's total formula. Every episode is standalone. The first season, at least, nothing progresses. So you're going to be frustrated, hitting all the formula points in every episode, if you binge. But if you watch like 2 or 3 episodes a week, it's fine.
Yeah. How many's in this set? It's 23, isn't it? With the pilot?
23, I believe.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't binge. It's not like an Incredible Hulk, while it's a different style of show altogether. That's sort of one you can watch,
right,
3 or 4 in a night quite easily. Or like an On the Buses or those British comedies, which you can do those very easily because they're only 20-something minutes and you can knock out 5 or 6 in a night quite easily. But all right, we'll call it a day on this one and stick around again for the NES. He's not happy again on this one. What's new? He's
never happy.
Never happy. But yeah, you will get a kick out of it. It's very, very funny. But all right, that's week 2 of Primetime Crime Month out the way. And back next week with week 3, but we don't know just yet. We'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to say for now, later.
Yeah, peace out.
And now, it's time for Rue Britannia with your foreign correspondent, the NES.
In a move that will surprise nobody other than those in a scavenger hunt for Amber Heard's hymen, West Ham United footballer and French international Kurt Zouma admitted guilt at his criminal trial in London last week after being charged with animal cruelty. This after filming himself abusing his pet cat with his brother. Kurt is an example of the modern-day professional footballer, culturally enriched, clinically brain-dead, horribly entitled, affluent, and frankly somewhat mistaken in his belief that the laws of gravity just frankly don't really apply to him. West Ham United, his employers, have actually issued a statement confirming that they will still stand by their player given his upcoming custodial sentence. West Ham United are owned by David Sullivan, a pornographer by trade who made his money off the back of his ex-girlfriend Mary Milliton in the 1970s. As an animal lover, she would have been proud. Marxism, and the BBC faced more government pressure this week as Scouse Working Class Culture Secretary Nadine Dorries announced a midterm review into BBC political impartiality. Shouldn't take long. 15 seconds will basically cover it. Specifically, also, the government review will also consider the question as to whether the BBC should employ more people from working class backgrounds. Given the number of university graduates employed by the filth, they won't really like that particular one at all. This also coincides with an upcoming review of the BBC licence fee very shortly. They'll like that one even less. Meanwhile, the tragedy that is Piers Morgan's weekday evening shampoo fest over at Talk TV continues with his nightly ratings now down to only 36,000 viewers. Why not go over to his Twitter account and remind him that he only really ever sings when he's winning? Sport, and the world of English horse racing went into Markle-style mourning when 9-times Derby-winning jockey Lester Piggott died last week at the age of 92. Piggott secured 202 wins alone in every available competition over a 40-year period, picking up an OBE along the way. The OBE, however, was later revoked after being convicted of tax evasion, which resulted in 1 year in prison. That said, Piggott did show remarkable courage in overcoming a speech impediment to become a success. As Lester would say himself, Further notes in passing, Ray Liotta passed away last week, and in accordance with the actor's wishes, the body will be bypassing a funeral in favour of a bunch of mafia capos sticking it into a trunk of a car at night, driving it a couple of miles to local woodland, parking the car on a lay-by, opening the trunk, firing a couple of bullets into it, and then burying it in an open grave. Who knows, maybe he'll be buried a couple of feet away from Roy the Mayor. Comedian Peter Kay announced plans for a comeback tour after 6 years in retirement. Entitled Mum's Dead So I Can Now Do What I Want, his first national tour will basically really comprise of his most successful routines, ranging from I'm fucking great and you're a nobody, sore fingers and Cantonese takeaways, crime is a disease and I have a rash on my penis, Barry Champlain talks frankly about Jill Biden, and my personal favourite, Kimber, kick his ass! All proceeds from ticket sales will be going to Ukrainian charities, so it's one reason not to buy any. And BLM activist, cam kneebender, cam tax dodger, cam occasional footballer Marcus Rashford married his fiancée this week in the Caribbean. Should be nice. He's black, she's white. What a sellout. He is. No truth, however, to the rumour that Rashford has requested separate hotel bedrooms to minimise contact with his new bride. Though that said, the wedding night will probably actually have consisted of both parties adopting the knee-bending position. Funny how the knee bend actually looks kind of like a swastika. Makes a change from the idea of Rashford actually looking like a professional footballer. And finally, with England on the verge of economic recession, Boris Johnson shot for the moon this week by unveiling economic measures designed to push the country towards Venezuelan status. Announcing plans for a national windfall tax and a £650 one-off payment to the disabled, Shirley was as bullish and concerned about the measures being successful at the same time. Quote unquote, "This is an atomic thunderbuster of a policy so well oiled that even Metal Mickey himself would think we've stolen his clothing. Half true, he's instead stolen the tax and spend policies of the Labour Party. Personally, I think I'll just take my clothes off and just dance naked around the maypole, and counting the word